Hello everybody, welcome back to my Country Sparkles channel. Today we are back with our beehives here and setting them up for our bees to come in just a few weeks. Today we are going to show you how to build bee frames. This is a medium frame and this is a large frame, and these frames go inside of our bee box here. There's a medium box on top and a large box on the bottom. These frames can hold honey and brood and pollen and wax. All kinds of things. So Terrence is going to show us how they're built, so I'll just turn it right over to him.
Thanks, Rachel. Yeah, bee frames, definitely not something you see every day because they're usually in your hive covered with bees, but they are super important. And one thing that's really important about a frame is to make sure that when you build it straight and strong. So we want to give you all of the advice that we've learned in building frames, how to make it, like I say, strong and square, and so that these frames can last you a long time. Today we're going to talk about frames that have foundation in them, plastic foundation to be specific, right? Because that's what we're running. We're either running a plastic foundation or we're just running natural and letting the bees build out their comb on it. Definitely recommend for all of our beginner bee friends out there, start with some good plastic foundation. It's a great place to start. One last thing I'll point out about this. I particularly like black foundation because I feel like when looking for bees and it's doing hive inspections, especially like looking for eggs to make sure your queen is laying right, that black foundation really makes those the eggs the queen has been laying, they really pop out and makes it a little easier to see. I just like to have something that's solid that I can work on, be able to apply a little pressure to. It's definitely a good idea depending on where you're building at. We're going to be using glue and things. You might want to put a piece of cardboard down to catch some of those drippings. There will be glue drippings if you use this method. So with that, let's talk about real quick the tools that we're going to use. It's actually pretty simple. We have wood glue. Definitely you want to wood glue these. Makes it stronger, better. This is a type 3. That means it could be exposed to outdoor elements. For frames, I think you could get away with just a regular wood glue, a type 1 as well, because these are going to be in your hive, hopefully from the elements. But this is just what I've got on hand today, so we're going to use this. The other thing that I find really beneficial is you're going to need something that will help you make sure that your frames are squared up. I particularly love these roofing squares. When building beehives and frames, it's just a really great size to be able to move around. It's really nimble. So something, you could use an old CD case. I know that's kind of dating myself there, but if you had an old CD case around, just anything that gives you a good square edge that you can use. So something that is true to a 90 degree. And then lastly, I've got it here in my shop. I've got an air compressor and I do have some air tools. We're going to use a stapler today, a pneumatic air stapler. So if you've got one of these, great. This is not required. I want to emphasize it is not required that you have to use this. A lot of frame kits will come with some nails that you can use to put in, and we'll show you where those go. You definitely, though, in my opinion, want to either use a nail or a staple of some sort, just to really give it that rigidity, and it definitely helps hold it strong and square while that glue is drying. So with that, we'll bring you in closer here for a closer shot so you can see exactly what we're going to do right here. Now that you got it in here for a little better view, I want to talk about just real quick the parts of the frame, right? So that we're all on the same page. This is the top of the frame. Naturally, it's called the top bar. So the top bar is what's going to sit out. You've got these kind of angled edges here that's going to hang on the sides of your bee box. So that's that top bar. Inversely, at the bottom, you have a bottom bar, right? It's the bottom of the frame. And on the sides, I'll bet you can guess what they're called. They're sidebars. So there are different lengths of sidebars, right? So depending on the size of frame you're making, again, this is a medium frame. So we're gonna use the medium sidebars just to kind of show you the difference here. Medium sidebar, and these are the deep sidebars for the deep frames. So we're gonna build a medium frame here real quick and show you how that goes together. Lastly, just show you what the other side of these bars look like. So this is kind of the top. The top is smooth. So for our frames, because we're gonna put foundation in them, they have a groove through here. Hopefully you can see that well, but that's where the foundation is going to sit. And then inversely, right, bottom bar, it is smooth. That smooth side is going to go to the bottom outside here. And we're going to put that grooved side, point those two grooves together so that foundation will hold in. So with that, frame assembly is really easy. It is a little messy. So again, grab some paper towels, put on a piece of cardboard, whatever you got that you need to do there. But goes together really quick. I'm gonna get just a couple tools ready here. Get my stapler ready. Okay, got our glue. What we're gonna do, we're gonna put a little glue. I like to start with the top bars. So the side bars, they're gonna sit right in here, and they're gonna press down on that. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna put just a little glue here, just on the sides of this. It's funny how it always makes such a more of a mess on camera. So we got that, and then on the top bar, or on the side bar, I mean, you'll notice, I should point this out, one side is wider than the other. The wider side is gonna go to the top bar, and the narrower side we're gonna do next on the bottom bar. So we're gonna start with the top bar. I like to take just a dab of glue right here, and put a dab on that side right here, and then inversely, a little dab on the inside there. So we get glue, and it'll kind of run down towards the bottom. That's fine. It's gonna get pressed in. So with that, I'm gonna take this, turn it upside down, and literally just apply a little bit of force there. You want the top of the sidebar to really come pretty close flush to the top of the top bar. Pretty simple, pretty quick. So I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna turn this frame around the top bar, put a couple more dabs of glue, and just to show you again a little closer there, just dab glue in here and here. I want that to kind of slide down as we slip that sidebar on. Dab of glue, let that run down for a second. We're gonna stick that one in. Now, you definitely can apply a little bit of force here if you need. I often keep a little bit of a rubber mallet here. You don't want to like overly pressure these through. So sometimes I've found if one sidebar isn't fitting, just grab a different one. It might fit better on a different top bar. Don't overthink it, but if you do apply too much force, sometimes these will split out. Usually right in this area. I've sometimes been able to repair that by just putting in a bunch of wood glue. Sometimes I'll put a clamp on it, things like that. For the most part, they just go together pretty easy. Now, again, we're gonna grab our bottom bar. That's kind of the last component of this from a gluing perspective. I'm gonna show you how we square it all up. So again, I'm just gonna put a dab of glue on each side there. I'm gonna do both ends here at once. And I'm just gonna set that bottom bar. I always get tripped up here when it's upside down. So we're gonna put that bottom bar in. Again, make sure that those came out really flush and nice. The other thing to just kind of watch for, if you've got a lot of gap here, this one's pretty close. This side's a little better. If you can see if I get that straight on. Inversely again, you can take this, set it on something. Put those ends together. Now, this is what I want to show you. This is wobbly, and we want to make sure that this holds really square and true while that glue dries. Now the glue is the real strength here, but we want that to stay strong. So I love, again, this square, my roofing square, because I can set it in here like this. I can make sure that the angles are all set right, and I can staple it. So I'm gonna get this here, and I'm pulling this over so that it is square, so that sidebar is square to the top bar. I'm gonna take this and I'm gonna put one staple right here, straight down through the bottom of the bottom board into the sidebar. Okay, so now that's gonna hold, really well, help hold that square until the glue dries. I'm gonna do both sides. I like to double check both sides just to make sure that things are holding about where they should. Some people say that you don't need to. Use your judgment. Now, that bottom bar is solid. We're now gonna do the same thing to the top. So we know that bottom and the side are pretty square. I'm gonna hold this in here, square that up, and I'm gonna put a staple there. I will turn this around, same thing. And if you've done it well so far, it's gonna pretty much be square because we already squared it up. This is just really validation. One more staple here. And that's great. So if you were using nails, those would be the 4 spots that I would put the nail. Absolutely those are the 4 spots. Now, optionally, and definitely if you're using staples or a brad nailer of some sort, I feel like there's a little added protection. I'm gonna show you here on this assembled frame already. Right here on this edge, you can probably see there's a little bit of a staple through. Hopefully that comes through. on here. Now that is kind of put through at an angle down through the sidebar into the top bar. That really helps us just really hold this whole corner together. Because when you imagine as you're getting ready to harvest your honey, you're doing a hive inspection, you're sometimes putting a lot of force right on this because those bees are going to propolize this and kind of glue it in. They want it to be secure. And so again, for me at this point, an extra little staple is really no additional effort. So I'm going to take that, I'm going to come in right here. And again, I want to make sure I'm shooting it down at an angle. The other thing I want to make sure is that I'm a little off center so that I don't shoot that staple right into this notch. So that gives you kind of a reference point of what I'm going for. So I'm just going to come in here and just like that, didn't shoot through. I'm using 1-inch staples for what it's worth. That seems to be a good length. I'm going to put a staple here on the other side. And that's it, right? So we're going to let this dry. I like to let my wood glue dry for a good day. Definitely depending on temperature and that, it could be less, but that's a great amount of time. Then we're going to fast forward and pretend like that this has been a whole day and just show you real quick how to insert that foundation. So I've got a sheet of plastic foundation. Literally just going to come in here, set one end in a groove. That plastic foundation is flexible enough and it's set right in there. Should be a little bit, be able to move that around. So there you go.
Thank you, Terrence, for showing us how to put together these bee frames. Great work making them nice and secure with all your nails and showing us that wood glue really is a perk for building these things. Thank you guys for watching this video. We hope that you found it informative and that it helps you in building all your bee frames and beehives in the future. Don't forget to also give us a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel so that way you can see all of our upcoming future bee and homesteading videos. Thanks you guys. Bye.